Okay, I am in the mood today. Well, first, I'm not in the mood today. Today is Sunday, and the market opens tomorrow. So, what I'll normally be doing is marking my charts, which I'm about to do right now. And yeah, I'm actually going to show my screen what I'm looking for on this chart right here. So, let me do a screen share right quick and still show me, show the girl. All right, let me stop. But anyway, yeah, so I'm just going to mark my charts today. I'm actually going to mark up SPX. I don't trade SPX, but because I am trying to make sure that I get clarity and precision in the way I do my charting and trading, I want to make sure that I'm disciplined and I'm on point, right? Because I've had a lot of mistakes in the past, and I'm not trying to go down that road again. And plus, I'm just in the mood also just to change up my the way I'm gonna start doing my content, because technically when I do my content, it's really more so for me as a discipline thing, just for me to track my progress and to make sure I'm not making mistakes. Because for me, I'm like, you know what? If you put it out there to the universe and everybody can see what you're doing and I can see what I'm doing, then that right there would tell me that, or at least it would help me to not make these same mistakes that I've done in the past. So that's what I'm going to do today. Just mark my charts for Sunday. I normally have a whole list, not a lot, but a list that I just mark up automatically if I ever decide to trade certain things. But today I'm going to do maybe just the SPX and SPY, and just mark up what I'm looking at. And technically my SPY, it already has the drawings on there, but I would just go back through just to make sure I got everything on there correctly. And yeah, that's what I'm going to do. And secondly, I'm just going to talk about a few little things, maybe one thing, I don't know, because I don't want my channel at this point just to be about me showing my progress, because I have a lot of things that be on my mind, to be honest with you, and I'm not fit to sit here and do another channel just to do that portion. I may in the future, but right now I'm not. So let me stop talking all this mess right now. You know, it's good mess. And let me just go ahead and share my chart, and I just talk through it what I'm doing. And yeah, that's what I'm going to do. So let me go back to share a screen. Yeah, so anyway, like I said, this is SPX. So what I normally do, and a lot of people don't do this, I do it personally because I just want to. I will go ahead and mark up what the all-time high was, and it's just random. Again, I don't necessarily even trade on this one, but it's good to get your chart precision and all that stuff right. So then I will go to the month. Move. And by the way, I'm not paying for this right now. I was paying for it at one point, but right now where I'm at, I don't want to pay just yet. I know in the future I probably will end up, paying again. Anyway, so I go ahead and mark up the previous month high and the previous month low, because we're already in the month right now, so this does not count because this candle here is still active. So previous month high, and I normally mark that in orange. Let me bring this down. I can tell already that it's not where it needs to be at. And then I will go ahead and mark up the month low. Then I'll switch all the way down to the week. I'm so hungry right now. I do the same thing. I do the previous week high. Change that to purple. And I do the previous week low. Bam, there we go. And then same thing for day. I do the previous. You know what? I just sit here and say it that we are going, because it's Sunday, right? So this is the new week. So let me go back to the week, because we still in the month, so don't worry about that. But to the week, because this was the week. This was last week. So let me drop this back down. See, I gotta. And then since it was last week, and notice how the previous month high is still here, I'm not going to put this on top of this. It won't make no sense. I'm going to delete that. So we already got the previous week high and the previous week low, which we're going into the new week, because the new calendar gonna form on Monday tomorrow, since this is the previous. So go back to the day. I had to remember that just now. Like, wait a minute. To the day, and it's going to be this calendar. So previous week high. I changed this one to yellow, and previous week low. That right there is yellow as well. Let me close that out. Alright, so that's what we got. And then I go back to the week because I want to see what trend that we are in right now. Actually, I go through all of them, to be honest with you. I just like seeing it. So you can see right now that we are definitely bullish for the entire month, meaning we have an uptrend going up right now. Then again, drop it down to the week. Alright, so ooh, I see a gap right here. So I'm gonna end up marking this gap right here, but not completely yet. Alright, so then we see where we had a where structure was broken here. So you see this line here. You see how price went here? Then it pulled back. Then somewhere, somehow, this structure right here is broken. So it was a break of structure. So then what I go do is go back and look at what. Get out of my way. Who broke you? Who broke you? Alright, so I can see right now. I can see here from this lower low to this higher high right here. You broke. This was the leg that broke the camel's back. Alright, let me stop. So I'm going to go ahead and draw a field right here. And then I see this area right here too that did have a pullback. And then this area right here was broken and it came up. But I may look into that. And I'm going to show ways. So if you do get confused, a good way to look at it. And I do it all the time. So I can know, hey, you know what? This right here may happen. Alright. So then I go ahead and mark up an area. Especially if you were doing, say you was doing like a long-term play. You can mark up areas where you would want to get in and buy a stock or a share or whatever. And I turn this to my green right here. I'm turning it green. Ooh, change the outline, baby, because we don't want that. Yeah, and there'll be an area right there where I can wait for a price to come down before I say, you know what, let it come. Once it hits this zone right here, then I'm gonna take it back up and everything, right? So then what I also see on the week, I also look for the origin order block. And what an origin order block is, it's an impulsive move that made price break structure to the upside, since we're talking bullish right now. And you have like your so you have like your original, your origin order blocks, and you also have your continuation order blocks. And again, those are impulsive moves where you normally see like a small candle like this, and then you'll get like a long candle, and I'm gonna show it on the screen right here. But you also have continuation order blocks as well, and these are where what am I trying to say, the institutional traders, where they get into the market and manipulate it. So you can normally tell. So let me go back right quick to the screen with the camera on. Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, so I see an area here. Now, a lot of times, like I said, you know, it's like a smaller candle than a large candle. Like right here, I can see one right now in a good area too right now. This is a small candle. And you get a large candle right here to the upside. This is a continuation order block right here, and you see like an imbalance right here as well, meaning, hey, price took out so fast that we didn't have time to fill orders, right? So you can expect that price will come back down to these areas right here to fill it. And again, like I said, this is a continuation order block. I'm gonna go ahead and draw it anyway, but then I'm gonna show something else, because let me see, let's draw this one right here first. You know, this is not the impulsive move that broke the structure, this structure right here. And let me change this color. I would have certain colors for everything. And then what I want to do, let me put a note right here to let me know that I'm on the weekly time frame. So that's my weekly order block. No, I just put like continuation order block. Okay. And then look. Then you got this area right here. Again, this is the imbalance. So I don't leave my imbalance off, but I know it's there. Every now and again I will draw it, but as an example to show the imbalance, and I normally turn this color blue for myself. Lets me know that, hey, price wants to come back into this area. But notice that price is also in the area where I would want to buy as well. My little green area right here, you can't see it now, so I'll put this dang on it's brown and it's blue right here. But this, matter of fact, let me mark this area right here. I'm gonna put it's actually a discount zone, and I put green, lets me know, hey, I might want to buy here. I'm looking for a price to come back here to this point. Okay, so yeah, so you have that right there. You have your buy zone, which is important because those are discount zones where everybody wants to obviously purchase stock or whatever they're doing at that time and get into a trade at a discount, right? So you can ride them back up if you have to and get more money, get more money. All right, let me stop. All right, and then again, you have the order block where price wants to come to as well. So they can fill these, because there are unfilled orders right here. Remember, I told you this imbalance. These are unfilled orders right here. And this order block right here, or an impulsive move to the upside, is what started this. So you always want price to fill all these orders and whatnot. And then if you look right below it, I see not an imbalance, but a gap. Some people call this an imbalance right here, or a fair value gap. It's also where price just took off and left a lot of orders here, or unfilled orders. So you got to come back here and pick this, I almost said the S word, Lord, and pick this up, okay? So what I'm going to do right here, I will go ahead and take my rectangle, and I draw this area right here, and put it over so I can know where I got it from. And I turn this maroon for myself. It just lets me know what that is. Let me turn this maroon, well, pink maroon, whatever you want to call it, as well. And let me make sure I got that we're on a week. They do the same thing. And the reason I got to mark it this way because I am going to drop down to the lower time frames as well. So this is the weekly, weekly gap, my bad. So that's a weekly gap, a weekly imbalance, whatever the case may be. So I'm looking for a price to eventually come back here and fill this area right here. And sometimes the price might not even want to come back to these areas. I know I'm talking about them, but move. Thank you. Price might not even want to come back to these areas right here. But hey, you never know. But either way, I have to mark it. Then I know I mentioned the origin order block, and I still don't see the origin order block. So a lot of times I'm gonna have to drop back down to the daily time frame. Now, before I do that, let me go up here. Sometimes you can look at this right here as a break of structure, because this was the high. Then there was a break of structure right here, and then you do, you do see an order block right here as well. So what I'm going to do, because I also want to make sure that I'm in the right position as well. So let me do two things first. Let me go to the Heikin-Ashi candles. The Heikin-Ashi candles, it makes your areas a little more clearer as well, because a lot of times when you have on the regular candlestick patterns, it's just a lot of noise. Then the Heikin-Ashi candles, it cleans everything up for you. All right. And then notice again, I never saw a smaller candle and then a big candle to the upside in the area that I was just looking at up right here. Let me go back. I was just looking right here, and I see like a small candle, then a push to the upside where it kind of broke structure right here. But that could be a continuation as well. But if I drop back over to the Heikin-Ashi candles, I don't see where it's showing me a smaller candle than a larger candle and everything. And it doesn't necessarily have to be consecutive, but it looks a whole lot better if it is consecutive, because then it will give you more confluence that, hey, your areas are correct. So I'm going to drop back down to the regular candles. Now let me go to the day time frame, because the daily time frame may show me something different right here. So let's go to the day time frame. Let me get y'all already messy. Then look, the daily time frame is in a pullback right now. Let me go back right here, because this is the area here. Now I'm gonna mark this area right here. I want to see something here. So let me mark this, because you can see where price made the higher high, then it made a higher low here, and then it pushed to the upside again to make another higher high. But I want to mark something here. I want to make sure my eyes are not deceiving me, because again, this is my journey, and I want to make sure that I'm right in this area right here. So I want to see something. Let me drop back up to the week, and what did that look like? So you remember I just said, well, I see something here as well, where it could be the origin block right here, because you had the smaller candle here, and then you had the longer candle here, and then you had price push past, like break this structure here and push to the upside. So what I'm going to do now, again, let me drop back down to the day, because I noticed that on the day, like, hey, who made you come up here? What was their origin right here? And I see this this area right here. But let me take this off. Let me show something right quick. Get off. Oh, child, you hit delete. It'll go off. If I go back right here, I don't see a small candle, then a large candle. But let me go to my Hikinashi candles and see what that shows. So Hikinashi candles and everything is not necessarily showing the area, but at the same time, I'm a smart cookie, but I know like this is an important area right here. So I'm gonna switch it back to my regular candles. I'm going to go back to my week because I want to mark that area regardless. Because at the end of the day, I do like this area here. And let me say this too. This area right here, there's nothing wrong with this area here because these are straight up legit areas. However, to a certain extent, you do want to get what the areas where price is closest to. Because price can come, because don't get me wrong, it's still close right here too now. It may be up here, this area, but hey, them sneeze, it can come back. I'm so silly. If it sneezes, it can come down and cover our areas right here. Because don't forget, price is magnetic towards these areas, so you still want to come back in at a certain point and possibly fill all these areas right here. So with that being said, I'm going to come up here, but what I'm going to do now, because I've already used my Fibonacci tool to mark my areas, I want to delete this because I don't want too much clutter and I don't want to get myself confused and whatnot. But again, that's why I go ahead and normally mark up my areas by the time frame, so I can know like what time frame is this on. So if I switch back to it, then I can know, okay, this is where I got this from. So let me take off my fibs, delete, and I'm going to actually do a fib up here now from this low to this high right here. So you would normally say like a swing low to this swing high right here. Okay, so that being said, let me take my tool, my rectangle tool, and I'm going to drive from this counter here. So you're the counter that caused this move right here. I'm going to draw a rectangle from here to there. Oops. And because my origin block, let me go ahead and I'm going to put origin on this one for right now. And I'm going to change this whole thing to my little light brown because that's my colors that I use for my order blocks. Okay? Origin order block, and let me make sure I know that I'm on a weekly right now too. So what I normally do, I will make sure that I'm looking at, that I'm seeing what I'm seeing, and I'm looking at my stuff correctly, because again, I have made a lot of different mistakes in the past, and I'm not trying to go there. Are there going to be mistakes? Yes, there are, but if I can minimize them or eliminate them altogether, that would be wonderful. Okay, let me go back. All right, so I got that weekly origin order block here already, and then I'm going to take a small fib. I'm going to take a small fib for this swing low to this swing high. Okay, and then check this out, and then you have then I would normally put a area to buy as well, again from the 60 to the 50 here. Let's make that green. Change this one. I should put my little things back green. I mean black. I used to do it at first, so I'm not changing both of these right here. And you can see, like, okay, we're already past this buy zone right here. So let's say I got to the market and I got here late, and it says, you know what, you're already past this area right here. What you gonna do? So the next area that you can normally look at too. And I can use each of my levels. Remember how I did my my month high, week high, day high, and all the lows for those time frames right here. I can use these right here as levels too, where we can say, you know what, maybe you can go ahead and get in from here as well. But a good rule of thumb too would be, hey, I can look at this 23.6 all the way down to the 0. Because normally when you do your Fibonacci, once you get either at a 0% or 100%, it kind of may trigger a reversal, that you know, hey, the trend may be getting ready to reverse once it hit these levels right here. It's not always the case, but a lot of times you can use these areas right here to help you determine that if that is a possibility. So I can come right here and do another area again from my 23.6 to my 0. But if I bring it right here, we can already see, hey, we've already passed this area that we're back in here. So what I'm going to do now, because for me this area is kind of small. What are you doing? Did I fix that? Oh, you know what? I did switch that to a different color because it's so bright right now. It didn't get bright because it's all up in this brown right here. So those can be areas right there that I can look at and say, hey, these are important areas right here. And then again, look, we're already at the month low right here. So this right here now is acting as a support area. So price might not even want to even push back down here. But that being said, you can also look and see that if we're on a week, right? And if we said that, hey, from here for this swing low to this swing high, that it's bullish. The only way that it will become bearish is if this swing low right here, if price breaks this area, close out. If price breaks this area right here or this level, then we can say, hey, you know what? We may be in bearish territory. Now, a lot of times for it to be in bearish territory, matter of fact, let me mark that right quick. And I would want to mark this as pink. I'm gonna make it 4 points so I can really see it. I might change that up one day. But anyway, but lets me know, hey, this level right here has been broken, so we may be bearish. So you may get a change of character to bearish. Okay? And then what happens a lot of times too, when you get like a change of character to bearish, you may have another order block, but it would be bearish order block. But we're not going to look at that just yet. And here's what's funny, because I'm still on the weekly, and I found a lot of different things already on the weekly. That's pretty cool right now, right? And without me even having to drop all the way down to the daily time frame. So again, right at this point, because this price has been, this structure right here has been broken, we got to change a character. Now, that being said, it broke, but here's the question: are we going to get another bearish pattern? So what I end up looking for, I look for like a bearish pattern as well to let me know that, hey, it's not a fluke, that price is not going to just keep going back up. Maybe it wants to keep coming, like do a continuation and keep coming down, especially if it comes down into our areas right here. So I know I'm going to put right here on my pink line. Let me change that to bullish. First off, we know we're bullish, right? We was bullish on the weekly. Wait, let me make sure I type in weekly bullish. I type in child, weekly bullish. And then I would do a bearish, well, no, change of structure or change of character to bearish. No, for bearish, my bad. I'm trying to make sure I keep my same wording every time, because I can change it up. But I know what it is, but you never know who comes across your video. You never know. So it's weekly bullish. Then it would need to do a break of structure and then a change of character for bearish. Alright, so I'm gonna hit OK. And this I know, like, hey, if it passes this line right here, we may be in bearish territory. Now, yes, you can say we're bearish, but again, I normally try to wait for a pattern, a bearish pattern to let me know that price is going to come back down here. So either way, we got our areas. Now, what I will also do, since I'm here, if I see that, as an example, price has already went past my areas where I would want to, let me show my face. Bam. Look how my head looking, child. You know what I'm about. But what I would normally do, if I see that price has already surpassed and just went through my levels or my zones that I've marked up, I would just go ahead and delete them. It's, you know, because at that point, that means that area is now null and void. It's been filled, so I need to start looking at other areas as well. And then you also look to see like if price is going to play off of those areas also. So then again, that's when I would go ahead and like delete certain areas. And the reason I delete also too, because you can't tell when I did my charts, but let me go back to the chart. I don't like a lot of things on my chart at all. Like, for me, I'm the type of person, it will confuse me if I have too much things on my chart. I don't like that at all. So I will go back through and delete. So I'm going to go back. Here's what's funny. This is the most I've ever stayed on the weekly chart, because I would normally jot down today, but weekly has given me a lot of things though, because we can see that again, week is in the, we was bullish, but week is now in a pullback. Okay, but before I delete my week, let me go to my day and see what I see on my day right quick. And the day chart would tell you even more. Like, oh shoot, it really went down. It goes down, baby. All right, let me stop. So again, let me go ahead and delete this area right here, because this was our first area that we had when we saw that the break of structure here. So I'm gonna delete this one because prices already look for the point here. Y'all can't see this. Prices already surpassed all this right here. So delete that. So it's a less sore that I have on my that I have. Then you can also see that this origin order block. Remember I said, because this is the order block that caused the impulsive move to the upside, and this is where a lot of buyers and sellers are. And you have your institutional traders trying to fill these orders right here and get in also. But again, you can see already that this has already been filled. This order block, this whole brown area has already been filled right here. So now for me, I don't need that right here anymore. So I will go ahead and delete this area here. Delete. Okay. And for me, I ain't gonna lie to you, I like how my chart looks even better right now. But then notice how price, again, because we're in a deep pullback right now. Okay, because again, we're overall bullish, but now we're in a deep pullback because we've already broke these lines here. So it's doing the pullback. We might say when I was on the weekly, I said, hey, I want to get an area where I can look at to, and maybe for a price to go bearish, basically give me more red candles, put it that way, where it can continue down into this area right here. And it may not even, again, come down and fill these areas, but I have to be cognizant in what we're doing. And that being said, I can also look for bullish candlestick patterns right here to let me know, hey fool, we don't want to come down here in this area right here. We ready to go back up. So again, it's in my discount area. So in my green, I said buy, it's in my buy zone right here. It's also an area for me to say, you know what? Oh, I may be able to get in and buy also. Now, that being said, what I also look at too, because I don't want to psych myself out either, I will go ahead and look for any areas where there may be gaps at. Maybe price came down too fast and left gaps. And I'm looking, and I gotta look real good, because last time that I caught myself looking, and I was like, oh, okay, I don't see it. I found it at the last minute. I'm like, how did I miss that? And I missed out on an opportunity, right? And there's been incidences where I didn't look over to my left far enough, because that's historical data, right? I didn't look far enough, and I thought I did, and I had marked up an area that I say, oh, you know what? I see a gap right here. I see this. I see that. And guess what? That area had already been filled. I didn't realize that. So now I'm just overly cautious just to make sure. Did my hair? I did it anyway. I'm just being overly cautious just to make sure that, hey, I'm seeing what I am seeing. So that's what I'm doing right now. Excuse me, on the day time frame. So I'm looking for gaps to see if they have been filled or not, or maybe there was no gaps. So here's an example of a gap right here. Look at this gap. You see this candle here. That was March 31st. Then you see a candle here on April 1st. But you see a gap that happened right here. Let me make it bigger. I do see this gap that happened right here. From here to here. And I can take it now. Obviously, it's going to be null and void, because you already see this candle right here that has already filled it. But I will show you what it would look like if I draw it here. Again, I know to make my gaps this color here. And you can see where this candle here, it filled this gap. So this gap obviously is null and void right now. It has been mitigated, so I can delete it. Because what I wanted to happen, it already, again, it took place and stuff. So then, what I would do again, and look how these candles, sometimes I don't like how the candles look right here. So what I would do is I can go to the Hakinashi candles. I don't know why I did it like that. And you can see, you can get a better story right here as well, right? So you see a lot more red candles right here. So at this point, again, we're still definitely bearish right now until we get something that tells us different, like maybe a bullish pattern, a break of structure, all of that. Then it lets us know that, hey, we're still in bearish territory right here. So these are the times where I will wait, but I won't jump the gun. Normally what I would end up doing, let's say I see price in this area right here, and these are the past. I'm learning lessons right now. I'm not an expert. And even make sure I say that. I should have said that from the beginning. I'm not a financial expert at all in this field. I'm not a trade expert, none of that. Stock expert. I'm not even a financial advisor. I can advise my daggone self. That's what I'm doing. I'm just learning from my mistakes and showing what I see when I look at the charts, and just learning my levels better. And not necessarily learn the levels, because I can mark levels just like that. As you can see, I just marked this level. Guess what? I got still on me the whole time, and I thought I had it on my screen. My gosh. Put it back on here. But yeah, I can sit here and mark up levels all I want, know what I'm looking at, but can I explain this? Do I know exactly what all of this means? And that's the part right there that I'm wanting to perfect. Okay, I want to perfect those areas right there. So anyway, so where was I at? But anyway, we're in the zone right here, and I know what I was saying. In the past, I would normally go ahead and be like, oh, I'm in my zone right here. Let me go ahead and buy it. Now, it depends on what you're doing, because you're going to use these charts right here. Let me put it back on myself. So now I can use these charts right here to do long-term investing, and I can also look at these areas for trading. If I was to do long-term investing, then yes, this will be my area right here where I can look at it and say, let me go ahead and grab me some shares in this stock right here and ride it back up. But if I'm doing trading, I really have to be extra careful to make sure that I'm not getting in too early, because price could say, yeah, we're gonna keep coming on back down this way, and that's something I don't want to do. And again, learning from the mistakes. So yeah, for the most part, this is how I would mark up my charts, and I have like a whole slew of charts that I go through, different charts that I go ahead and mark up, so I can go ahead and get into my areas that I want to look and buy more shares and whatnot in. So yeah, that's what I do. And I think I'm going to stop with the charting right now and showing this version. And yeah, I think I'm end up doing like another video. Yeah. So anyway, I don't know who would come across this. If you come across it, you might think that girl all over the place. I am one of those people that's all over the place, but I know what I'm looking at and what I'm looking for and what I am trying to accomplish. And one thing I would definitely tell you, if you are one of those people who are just now getting started, you may be a prodigy. And what I mean by that, when I say that you may be a prodigy, you may be one of those people that catch on just like that. You would be one of the few that catch on just like that. If you do, baby, kudos to you. But if you're not, then don't be afraid to, get on these charts, learn this stuff. I was at a point in time where I had no idea what I was looking at until someone showed me, hey, this is what you're looking at. Now I don't have that fear now. Now the only fear that I would have, look, my shirt says faith over fear. The only fear, well, I say faith technically, but anyway, that I would have if I start like making the same mistakes and whatnot, and I'm not reading my charts correctly. Like these candles, baby, you can't tell me nothing about these candles now, because I know what I'm looking at when it comes to these candles and everything. But you will start like learning this stuff as you go, and then if you do what I'm doing, this process right now, When I started the channel, it definitely was for myself, but also for beginners and whatnot, so they can go ahead and get started as well. And just to show that you don't have to be afraid of the charts. Again, there are so many people on YouTube that knows way more than I do. And again, I made a lot of mistakes. You know, I'm still fresh with mistakes. You know, it could take some time, especially depending on what your habits are. And I definitely had like a lot of bad habits, and that's why I said from the start of this video that I did not want to continue those habits. Someone may come across this video right now. As an example, someone who really knows their stuff may come across this video right now and be like, what is she talking about and whatnot, or what, she's wrong with this, she's wrong with that. Okay, that's fine. I don't feel like I'm wrong on stuff. But you will get those people that come across that may say that, and that's fine. Let them say what they want, but I know the journey that I'm on and what I am trying to perfect. I can tell you right now, I'm a long way from where I used to be, and I'm saying it in a good way. I learned a whole lot more than I learned in the past, because now, before I'm even putting money into the market, now I have really been taking my time to really understand what I am looking at, the market structure, all of that stuff. And you will end up learning that as you go along. And it has made me a better person. It's made me a better trader. It's made me a better investor, right? But I'm not going to be so fast to put my money into the market still, until I really feel like, okay, you're at a point where it's okay for you to start putting money back into the market. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that I am going to wait forever. I'm not going to wait forever, and I'm not trying to make it perfect. You're not going to be perfect. I have to say that over and over and over. You're not going to be perfect in this market. You're going to make mistakes in the market, period. And a lot of times you could be right. You could be absolutely right, but the market is going to dictate what it wants to do, right? Everything can line up, and you know, hey, it should be doing this, because you cannot predict the market. It should be doing this, but the market may turn around and say, but we don't want to do that today. So again, there's no one who is 100% correct in what they're doing. Okay, you're going to have wins, and you're going to have losses when you're in the market, and that's okay. The type of losses that I want to be losses where, hey, it wasn't me, the market decided to do what it did. The loss I do have, I don't want it to be because of me and not analyzing the market correctly and not taking my time to be sure, right? So if you notice too, we was on the charts when I was especially on the week chart. Matter of fact, let me go back to it 1 second. Those when I was on the week chart, let's go back. Let me close this out. Remember when I first got on the week chart, right? I actually marked this area as my field, and up to this area right here. And again, it's still correct. But I also noticed this area right here, where there was a swing low and a swing high, basically another break of structure right here. So I was like, let me mark this area right here also, so if price is in these areas, these are still valid areas. Again, this area down here, these are valid areas. Now, this may be a point, because you do also have like a Fibonacci extension tool. I don't use the Fibonacci extension tool at all. I really have to learn that. And I'm thinking, what if I was to use the Fibonacci extension tool? Matter of fact, since I'm right here, I want to see something. Let me take this off, this fib off. If I was to use the Fibonacci extension tool, will everything still line up? I never used it, or I've seen it before. Don't get me wrong, but excuse me, to actually use it like that, no. So is it still here? Let me see, fib retracement, trend based fib extension. This is it right here. So I'm gonna click on this one. Did it say it to my thing? Hold on. There it is right there. Oh Lord, it went all the way up here to see. That's how I know I got it. Yeah, I'm not ready to use the Fibonacci extension too. I was trying to see something. I will learn it one day. Let me delete it off. I can tell my computer wants to run slow now. Well, because I decided to use a different software, and it's slowing everything down. But anyway, you get the gist of it. Either way, I'm still in the right areas, in the right zone. So if it drops, I already know what areas that price wants to gravitate to. All right. So put it back on myself, and yeah, that's about it. I'm going to end this video here. And yeah, I don't know why I said 40 minutes. I was looking at the wrong thing the whole time, child. I was like, dang, I feel like I've been talking forever. We only at 12. Man, it's the dang on time zone thing. The actual time right now. I was looking at the wrong one because my camera, where I can see me, is actually over here. And anyway, I asked for all that. So if you came across this video, if you like what you heard, like the video, consider subscribing to the channel. I will have more things coming, and yeah, that's about it. And I'm gonna end it here. Yeah, bye. All right, cool.